Stokely Carmichael, Black Power, Frantz Fanon, the African anti-colonial writer who was a socialist revolutionary. I mean, this is where Barack Obama comes from. And to imagine that he was going to keep any of these campaign promises, only people who'd never read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals would imagine that Obama meant anything he was promising during his campaign. He was saying all of the right things so people would say, oh, he'll just be another moderate Democrat who will rule from the center, when that couldn't have been less true.
But Dr. Corsi, isn't it more than that? I mean, isn't that just his left cover? And I understand he came from that Poverty Pimp foundation system. The foundations create that fake, organic, liberal MO to pimp out and control their local slaves and to use them as political weapons to menace the middle class into submission in the major urban centers. I mean, isn't Obama getting 4 times the money of John McCain, just a total corporate, slick-tongued Harvard lawyer? I mean, I know you're from Harvard too, but I'm not bashing Harvard. The point is, isn't he just a corporate shill? I mean, you think he really is a communist?
His top advisors come from Wall Street for Barack Obama. Look at the list. You've got Goldman Sachs. You've got many of the banks, even that were involved in the bailout. You've got lawyers from top law firms in Washington and New York. Barack Obama drew money, just like John McCain did. They both did, from virtually the same Wall Street banker lawyer group. George Soros also funded John McCain. I wrote that and documented that going back into WorldNet Daily before the campaign.
Sure, so they own both fighters in the fight.
No
both
matter
horses.
who won, Wall Street and Soros and won. The globalists won.
But you're saying at his core, he is a...
He's a leftist. He's a socialist at his core. That's what I've always argued. And when he gets the opportunity to rule the way he wants to rule, he forget all the campaign promises. Now it's full steam ahead with the Mexican trucks. They come across the border. He flies down to Mexico on a stealth agenda on Sunday to hold what should be a Security and Prosperity Partnership meeting. They haven't taken the website down yet, spp.gov, in the Department of Commerce, but they're announcing they're redoing it, a complete public relations makeover.
But that's what I'm saying, is that he's got goons everywhere beating people up. The reports are confirmed out of Missouri, New York, California, Texas. I mean, he really does want an army of Obamanoids out there knocking people in the head. This guy, I mean, I know you and Webster Tarpley and many others said he would do this.
Yes.
But to actually see brown shirts in America, to actually see them running around beating everybody up and police on the news saying, don't talk bad about Obama or we'll arrest you. Do you ever feel like you're going to wake up in a Twilight Zone or Outer Limits episode, Dr. Tarp?
Sometimes it does feel that. But, I said that the community organizers, and you've got to realize, Alex, I've been dealing with the leftist community organizers back to the 1960s. For me, this is 4 decades of fighting this issue.
But now they're not the hippies out in the street. So now they're not the hippies out in the street. They're now the police.
They grew up. They put on business suits. They got into the power establishment, and it's okay now for them to take billions of taxpayer money and give it to Acorn. Billions, and make sure that they can still community organize from the far left. But if anybody, including ordinary citizens, grandparents, show up at these meetings, not organized, not paid for, not professional agitators, then what happens is the Obama people demonize these senior citizens and others attending the town hall meetings, and they send out the SEIU and other left-funded community organizing groups or unions or Obama supporters of one kind or another to harass, beat up, and cause trouble, disrupt the ability of ordinary middle-class Americans to go to these town halls and to express their grievances. That's what the left has always done. The left is, the Obama far-left community organizer is not about free speech.
It's a Chicago big city machine enforcer?
Yes, and with the background of a socialist ideology that if you do not agree with, you're by definition an enemy of the state.
Well, that's what they were saying, is they ran up to this black guy on video and said, how can a black guy be against Obama, and then called him the N-word and punched him in the nose.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the whole issue is the race. You know, you'd read Paul Krugman today in the New York Times, and so the middle-class people attending these town hall meetings are defined by Paul Krugman as racist. Anybody who objects to Barack Obama is racist. But yet, if you want to advance that argument, the expectation from the left is that they're going to get 100% of the African-American vote. And any African-American who dares be conservative and object to Barack Obama is going to get doubly demonized by the left.
Well, yeah, I was reading the Post-Dispatch and other articles and made a slight mistake. They did arrest a reporter who didn't deserve to be arrested, and they did arrest some of the people who were against what Obama's doing with health care, but they also did arrest one of the people that did assault the innocent Tea Party person. So the police did appear to do a better job. So good for them.
And the police are usually, I mean, my experience with the police in America is the police are doing their best to try to preserve order. And the police are trying to maintain a peaceful situation. So the videos I saw, even with the SEI protesters causing trouble at a couple of these rallies over the last couple of days, the police have done everything they can just to quiet things down and to be even-handed. But the police are being put into an untenable situation if the far left is going to call out its thugs to try to disrupt these meetings so that they appear to have been disruptive from the beginning. They're not. These are angry people.
That's why they're doing that. That's right. In fact, the news,
Sure.
When I read the Pittsburgh Post-Dispatch, their own reporter got arrested for no reason, and then the Post acted like that was a good thing, and the Post is just incredible. I mean, it's incredible how they distort. And meanwhile, I'm sure you've seen all the articles. We have a CNN piece. They're saying the Obama Joker picture is racist when all it's showing is a psychopathic lying criminal. And the very magazine that showed George Bush as a vampire.
Well, they did a Joker picture of George W. Bush, too, and no one on the left objected to that I can recall.
But, I mean, is Obama a god like Hitler or Stalin where you can't make fun of him? Because the Democrats are in the news calling it dangerous, calling it illegal, saying it should be taken down, calling it...
This is the totalitarianism of the political left. It's been this way since 1917. It's been this way since the 1960s, when you were dealing with SDS leftist radicals like Bill Ayers. They never have tolerated on the far left free speech. If you object to the left, you are by definition a racist, an imperialist, a colonialist. You give all the other names. You can't have a position that is tolerated by the left unless you agree with them.
Listen, I've had the anarchists, not all of them, but, the certain groups that are hired by big foundations, they'll just come over and you could be talking about, the sky being blue, and they'll just start poking you, calling you a racist, and it's a religion to them, and they smile. They know you're not a racist. They're just using it as their big foundation weapon. Take Nancy Pelosi saying, you're AstroTurf racist. If you're against health care, you're a racist. I mean, it really is comical. It's like a bunch of parrots just chirping the same word.
It seemed like Nancy Pelosi took her talking points right off of a Daily Cause column and posting. I mean, I'm looking for the swastika pictures. I don't see swastika people coming in with swastika pictures. This is not a far-right protest. It's a middle American protest. And from the left's tactic has always been, when there's getting a strong uprising from middle America against them, they'll try to make middle America appear as if middle America is violent. So the attempt has been to get these events to be portrayed as not just angry expressions of opinion, but intentionally created disruptive, violent protests from the organized radical right, which could not be farther from the truth. I mean, the Republican Party right now is so disorganized, I don't know that the Republican Party could organize a Sunday afternoon picnic. The idea that the Republican Party is driving these protests is not the case at all. Many of these people who are showing up at these rallies are just as angry at the Republican Party of George Bush as they are the Democratic Party of Barack Obama.
Well, I just, Dr. Corsi, I just can't believe that I pick up the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and it says that anti-Obama healthcare people cause a disturbance, and then you watch the videos, and it's the Obama people attacking them.
The likelihood is that the peaceful middle Americans who are at these meetings are going to be blamed for the violence, whether they cause it or not. And the left, knowing that, just wants to have these events disrupted, so the image is created that this is a violent reaction against President Obama, which it's not, even if that has to be generated or concocted. And that's where, I'm concerned to see now the White House, instead of taking the position of defending the right of middle Americans to speak out, of coaching the senators, of having meetings at Axelrod and the deputy chief of staff at the White House give talking points to the senators going home, saying, if you get punched out of these meetings, we'll punch back twice as hard. I mean, these are aggressive far-left techniques that don't bear with free speech. The White House ought to be out there saying, we're listening.